YouTube makeup lovers. So today I want to do an updated video on my favorite foundations. A lot has changed since I first got onto YouTube, and this is one of the very first videos that I did, and a lot of people really liked it. And I just thought I would do an updated version of my favorite foundations just because I have tried so many more new products and a lot of my favorites have changed. Some of course have stayed the same, but I would say that the good majority of them has changed, and a lot of the ones that maybe were my favorites back then are no longer my favorites now. The majority of the foundations are more on the pricey side. I really only have two that are my favorites from the drugstores, but they're like really high up there in my favorite list. But really, I didn't want to just, you know, start adding foundations that I like in the drugstore that I haven't used in over a year. I wanted to tell you guys the foundations that I have been using non-stop and that I will continue repurchasing. A lot of the ones that I think or that I thought were great, I pretty much stopped purchasing, and they're good foundations, but these other two drugstore ones that I have fallen in love with are just way better. So there's really no point in repurchasing something that does not reach the level of these. And then the other ones are pretty much, you know, bought at Sephora, the majority of them. So they're pretty higher up in price. They're not like $60 like maybe a Giorgio Armani foundation would be, but they're pretty high up there. I would say about in the 40s, maybe even reaching to the $50 type price range. But most of these found at Sephora, the ones in the drugstore, are amazing. So if you're looking for something that is not that expensive, you should definitely keep watching, because there are two drugstore foundations that I think could be sold at a department store because they are that good. So I guess first I'm going to start off with the drugstore foundations, and then I'll go into the other ones, and then I just have one other product that is not really a foundation, but I really had to share it with you because sometimes I don't even wear foundation because I'm wearing this product. So let me just get started before I continue rambling. And for the drugstore foundations, I pretty much think that this one I have been in love with already forever, and it is my #1 favorite drugstore foundation. It is the L'Oreal True Match Luminous Healthy Makeup. It's called, actually it's Healthy Luminous Makeup. This has SPF 20, and I love it because L'Oreal has such a great color selection. You have them warm, you have a more cool tone, and you also have a more neutral. These for me are the more neutral ones, and I actually use 2 shades. It depends if I am tan or not. The perfect color for me would definitely be mixing them, but the majority of the time I'll use the N12, and sometimes if I'm a little tanner I'll just use the N3. But if I were to mix them, it's like the perfect shade. So these are the two, and I just love them. They are great quality. They make you look flawless. I do think it gives you a little bit of that dewiness, so if you don't like to look dewy, then maybe this wouldn't be the foundation for you, but I love it. I do have dry skin, which is important for you guys to know now that I am doing this video. This is a great foundation. I love the pump. It comes with a pump that is like a plus for me, which my next foundation is a great foundation. It doesn't have a pump. That's a lot of the reason, that's a big reason why sometimes I don't reach for it as much, just because I don't feel like dealing with the regular cap. The other fabulous foundation is the Revlon Color Stay Foundation. This is an excellent foundation, also found at the drugstore. It lasts all day long. I use the one for the normal to dry skin. So that's something really good that Revlon does. They have one that's normal to dry skin. They also have one that is for combination skin and more oily skin. So you can pretty much pick, you know, whichever one it is that you want. I use the shade 200 Nude, and it is just a great foundation. This one has SPF 15, and I just really love it. It is a wonderful drugstore foundation. So these are my 2 drugstore favorite foundations. I think they are amazing products. Now moving on to the products found at Sephora, I wanted to mention this Laura Mercier. This is the Creme Smooth Foundation. This one comes in a pot like this, and it is it seems like a very thick foundation, because it is. You really do not need that much. This I definitely would not recommend with someone with oily skin. I like to use this in the winter when my skin is at its driest. And I usually, this is also important for you guys to know, like to use my foundation with a brush. This is actually one of my favorite brushes ever. This is from Sigma Beauty. This is the Angled Top Kabuki brush, the F84. This is the one that I like to use with the majority of my foundations over and over again all the time. It's my favorite way to apply foundation with a brush. But I'm mentioning this to you guys now because for this foundation, the Laura Mercier Creme Smooth Foundation, I prefer to use a beauty blender. So I like to wet the beauty blender, it gets nice and big, and I like to apply it with the beauty blender. I feel that the wetness of the beauty blender makes a foundation look nice and thin. So it thins it out a lot and it really makes you look flawless. But this is something that if your skin ever goes dry, especially in the winter, I totally would recommend. So I really like using this one, and I've liked this one for quite a while, and I still do. I use the shade Warm Ivory. From Makeup Forever, I still love these two foundations. I always have. I like the Makeup Forever HD High Definition Foundation, and I also like the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Plus Foundation. Very different foundations, both of them, but I have been lucky enough that they both work really well on my skin. In the HD, I use shade 118, and in the Matte Velvet Plus, I believe it's 30, because they have so many numbers in the back, and I think I'm 30. This one makes you look, the Matte Velvet Plus, I feel it's more of a thicker foundation. If you really want a lot of coverage, I really like this one. It is mattifying, but it's not too much. I think this will also work really well for oily skin. The HD one, I feel it's a little bit more natural. It has a pump. Both of these have really great packaging. This one has a pump, and this one has kind of like a little thing like this, which makes it really easy. This one is also a really nice small size for travel. This one, I think any skin tone could use it, the Makeup Forever HD, and it just works really nice. It just depends what you want. This one is just, it's not too thick. It just goes on really nicely. I did one of my very good friends' makeup for her wedding, and I used this foundation, and it was beautiful. In all the pictures, she looked flawless. She looked very natural. That's one of the first things that she told me. I know that people like to pack on the makeup for the wedding because of the photos, but she says she wanted to look pretty and natural in person. She didn't want me to do her makeup for the photos. She wanted me to do the makeup for her to look natural in person, and she did. This foundation did wonders, and it also looked great in the photos. So Makeup Forever has really great foundation. One that I have been loving completely is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation. I really love this one. This is 4.0. This is another foundation that has a lot of shades. I didn't mention it, but the Makeup Forever one also has really great shades. But the Urban Decay ones are very easy to find because they have the 0.0s are more yellow toned foundations, and the 0.5s are more pink tone foundations. So they are more easy to find, and I just really like it. This one is paraben free. It says weightless ultra definition liquid makeup, and I just really love it. It is a great foundation, and it makes me feel like I look flawless. It has a pump, so it's very easy to apply. My most recent foundation that I've purchased is the Tarte Maracuja Miracle Foundation. This is a 12-hour foundation. This foundation, I got the most recent out of all the bunch, but I really love it. It's gone to my favorites, to be in my favorites really quickly. It also has a pump, and I just feel that this one makes you look so flawless right away. It's the one that I'm actually wearing today. You really do not need that much, and it just covers up so much. I feel like this foundation is one that's really good. If you want medium coverage, you can get medium coverage. If you want full coverage, you can do full coverage. If you want to go really light, you can go really light. I feel like with this foundation, you can just do so much, and it just works really well. It does last a very long time. This one also does have SPF sunscreen 15, and I use the shade Light. My only negative thing with this is that I do not think the color selection is that great. They really do not have that many options to choose from, so finding a color may be a little bit more difficult than maybe with the other brands. That is one thing that I just, you know, and I remember the colors were just very different from one another, and I was lucky enough to find a color that worked for me. But it is a very good foundation. It's the one that I've been using the most recent now, just because it's the newest one. And the one that I think is the fanciest one is the Marc Jacobs. This is the super, or not super, this is a Genius Gel Foundation. I use the shade 26 Bisque Medium. This is a really, really nice foundation. It can also be one that I would probably go up to full coverage, but this is one that I always like to use more lightly. You really do not need that much. One pump is what I use. You can even use two if you want, and it just works so nice. It makes you look so nice and flawless. I call it more of my fancy foundation just because it feels very nice and gel-like and almost like very fluffy and just feels good on your skin. And that's one thing that I really like about it. And of course, it covers really nice. So if you want to add more foundation, you can definitely take it up to a full coverage. It has a pump as well, so that is very important to me, the pump, because if not, it's just really annoying. I think out of all my foundations here, the only one that doesn't have a pump is the Revlon Color Stay, but I have not nixed this foundation just because it is that good. But I have nixed foundations just because it didn't bring a pump and I just didn't want to deal with it, and the foundation wasn't that great that I should have had to deal with it. But with the Revlon Color Stay, I'm willing to deal with a pumpless foundation. But anyways, back to the Marc Jacobs. It's a really great foundation. They have a really nice selection. It just makes you look flawless. All my foundations, pretty much what I go for is something that makes me look natural. I don't like to feel like I have a lot of foundation on, so that's one thing that I look for in all my foundations. I also want to look flawless, and I want it to cover any imperfection I might have and even out my skin tone. I don't really have that much of problem skin, but I always want to look nice and flawless and even. And all these foundations pretty much accomplish that. Those are the things that I always look for in a foundation. If I'm missing one of those factors, then I definitely will not buy it. So this next product isn't really a foundation. It's more like a daytime face cream, but I love it so much, and I had to mention it because sometimes if I skip my foundation, this is a product that I will definitely go to. And this is the Origins Vitazing with SPF 15. It has a sheer tint release, which says it right there. This is the new packaging because it didn't say that before. And it's not like a tinted moisturizer, but it does give you like a little tiny tint. I mean, you have to wash your hands after you use it because your hands, you feel them tinted as you apply it. I love applying this in the morning. Sometimes I'll even wear it under my foundation. Other times, if it's on the weekend and I really just do not want to wear makeup, I'll just apply this and my skin looks even. It looks nice and fresh and glowy. And I love that. So I had to mention it in this video because seriously, if I stop using foundation and I just go with this product, it's because it's such a good product and I really recommend it. I've already been using this for years. I don't even know what number this is. I buy it over and over again, and it is just a really great product. So this I use instead of foundation the days that I just want to wear nothing, and I feel nice and comfortable leaving the house with just this, just because it makes your skin feel so nice and glowy. And then this last product I want to mention, I love so much. I think it's better than any BB cream, CC cream, or even any tinted moisturizer that I have ever used. And this is the It Cosmetics CC cream, and this has 50 SPF. I use the shade Light, and it is a fabulous product. This is another one that is a very light foundation, but it covers so well. It is pretty much a CC cream. It says color correcting full coverage cream plus anti-aging hydrating serum. So it even has some anti-aging benefits, but it is just so good. I was really wild with this product. You can find this at Ulta, and I recommend it to anybody because it's so light. I pretty much just put it on with my hands, and then I go ahead and do my concealer and the rest of my makeup. And you would think that I pretty much spent, you know, use my foundation brush and a regular foundation is what you would think that I did, but I didn't. It's just something so fast and quick, and it just feels so good. Of course, it doesn't give as full coverage as you would get with a regular foundation, but sometimes I pretty much just wear this all week to go to work, and my skin looks flawless, even, nice, and natural, and I just love it. It covers so much. I am amazed at how well this product covers. So it is a great product. If you're looking for a tinted moisturizer or a BB cream or a CC cream, this is definitely the one that I would recommend to you guys. So that is pretty much it. These are my favorite foundations of all time. I love them so much. I really hope that if you're looking for a foundation, this video helped you out a lot. always something that you can do, if you don't want to go out and buy the whole foundation, always ask for a sample. It's a really good tip. I do it all the time. I ask for a sample, they give it to me, and then you can probably try it out a couple times, and then you kind of get a feel of whether you like it or not. And of course at Sephora, they always say that if you use something and you don't like it, you can always bring it back. So if something happens that you spent a lot of money in a foundation and you absolutely hate it, then Sephora will always take it back from you guys. I just think that's really good because I know they can get a little pricey and you definitely don't want to be spending money on something that you're going to hate. But I really hope that you guys had a lot of fun watching this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching B Lounge Makeup. Bye!